So here's a before on my beautiful client. She's the natural level 3, maybe a little bit of a level 4 on top from the sun. And we went in today and did a whole color correction. So in her back half of her head, I used Bombing Schwarzkopf and 20 volume, and I basically did a platinum card technique. I did not bother folding the foils up, one, because it was just going to create more bulk, but also it just was a little bit faster to do it this way. And plus I find that for thicker hair, it's better if you keep the hair all going flat in one direction. If you put folds, it can sometimes move the product and create a line in the color, which is what we're not trying to do here. So like I said, I used 20 volume in the back half, and I feathered it up into her base color, so that would, one, create, you know, a natural shadow root, if you will, but two, so that this way, when the color does fade, it will be a lot softer. It's not gonna have like just like a straight line, if that makes sense. It'll already be diffused. So I just did back-to-back slices, and it's a very repetitive process. This is definitely the type of thing where you want to really saturate the hair. And when I mean saturate, I mean saturate. Please do not skimp out on your lightener. I'd rather you use more lightener and have some left over than not enough. I used, believe it or not, 8 bowls of lightener on this girl's head. She had so much hair. Like, when I tell you her hair was thick and then some. Like, she has enough hair for 10 people. So right here, I'm actually remixing just for this section. And basically, when I went into this application, I started on the lower right in that quadrant. And then once I got halfway up the quadrant, I went to the left side and did that half. When I finished that half, I did the upper left side, and then I did the right side, so that this way everything would just process more evenly. I find that that's what works for me. And I used 20 volume for this whole back half. I just did slices, feathering up into her natural color. And for the most part, her hair lifted pretty well. Like, her hair lifted to a clean level 10. I was pleasantly surprised with how, you know, dark her hair is. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by a clean level 10, think of like the inside of a banana. It's that pale baby yellow. There's barely any yellow left in it. And it just, in order for us to get her to blue, which is what, you know, she wanted to do, I needed to lift her to at least a level 10. So I am just finishing up this back section here. And again, I'm just taking slices and just keeping everything nice, neat, and organized. I burnt my finger a few times with bleach throughout this application. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I cannot wear gloves when I'm working with foils. I feel like the foil gets stuck on the glove. I don't know if any other hairstylists have ever had that struggle, but yeah. So basically, what I'm doing there is I'm just wiping the lightener so that it wouldn't get on my hands, because it was not fun. Honestly, I think I'm allergic to bleach at this point, so. But, you know, I love my job. And like I said, saturation is key, so just saturate. I went through a lot of bowls of lightener on this client, as I stated before, so yeah. I'm just finishing up the back half of her head right now. And I ended up doing the left side. I used Bombing Schwarzkopf and 25 volume, so I mixed half and half of 20 and 30 for those of you who don't know. And I didn't really record that part because I felt like it was 2 hours of foiling for this entire application. So I feel like it gets really repetitive, so I'm not going to record the whole thing, just, you know, like certain clips of it, if you will. And yeah, so I believe I'm on the last section here, and then I'm going to switch to the left side. And then when I pick it up, you're going to see me actually end up being on the right side. I had like maybe like 4 or 5 sections left. And then I also did a small section in the front, just so that this way it would be clean, because you never want your sectioning to be wider than your foil. So that's just something that I've learned over the years. So yeah, so I did a few, I believe, on the left side here. which you'll see starting out. I think when I go to remix the bowl, I just cut the video there. So yeah, so I'm just finishing up on the left here now. As you can see, I was using, like I said, 25 volume just to give you guys a reminder of that. I went and remixed, and I'm now basically, like I said, I think I had like 4 or 5 foils left at this point on that right side, and then I have like the little money piece box, if you will. And granted, we're bleaching everything, you know, all the way up to the root and feathering in, but I just wanted to keep that little section separate. One, because it'll be the last thing I do, but also so that this way there's not like too much hair in a foil, if that makes sense. Like, you never want, like I said, your foil, like your hair to go, you know, wider than the foil. So I tend to always keep at least like an inch on each side of the section, so that this way I know that like when I fold the foils over, there's not going to be like overspilled the lightener if it like seeps out or that type of thing. Don't mind me here. This is my coworker. We're like the fun ones in the salon. Like, we're tatted and we're loud and crazy. But, so you'll casually see us have a conversation because we basically work back to back, which is super, super fun. So I'm just finishing up her application here. Yeah, we're having a little conversation. Don't mind me. So yeah, so at this point I was using 30 volume, and then I believe I had to remix a little bit for that front piece. So I ended up just staying with 30 volume because I didn't want to really go higher than that. And her hair was relatively pretty healthy and strong, so I wasn't really too worried about going in with that, especially since her hair is darker. I've learned from past experience that if I don't start with a high enough developer, it ends up not lifting as light as I need it to. So yeah, so now I'm working on that last section here. I literally ran out of bleach when I had 2 foils left, so what hairstylist hates that? Like, seriously. Tell me if you've had that happen too. It's the most annoying thing to like run out and you only have to mix lightener for like 1 or 2 foils. Anywho, so after finishing this application, which I'm almost done, I think I have like 2 more foils after this one, I rinsed out the back half of her head, and I discovered we had a little bit of a paranormal hair activity going on when I started to rinse out the left side of her head. The back half of her head lifted great, and I had discovered she previously had color. So where I thought it was just brown highlights, according to the mother, she had magenta hair that she then colored dark to match her natural. And basically, I saw that it really wasn't lifting past about a level 8, which is like an orange undertone, if you will. So I had to kind of work around with my formulation for what I was going to do for her blue, so I can kind of counteract that as much as possible. So I ended up using kind of like a tealish green on the end, so I can counteract as much of that orange and red that was in those sections, and it ended up turning out really great anyway. So everything happens for a reason. Definitely go with what the hair is telling you or doing, because it's not worth it if you destroy the hair. Also, just a quick note, I am using my More Power Painter. This is the finished application. This is her color melt. I used a bunch of colors from Color Ion, I believe it was, and Pulp Riot. And this was the finished result. I mean, we were living for it. It kind of gives like Luca from Pixar vibes, if you've seen that movie. And it was super fun to do. Like, I had so much fun doing this color. And if you like my work, make sure to click subscribe, click the like button, and comment down below. Thank you.